Hey, I'm Bobby Sorton with Firefly Reservations, and I'm here with Michelle Conray with Lakeland RV Park. Michelle, thank you for being on here with us. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, so my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were a previous Astra campground manager customer. Is that right?
I was
Okay,
absolutely and loved Astra. Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've recently, I think I'm understanding correctly, you just recently migrated from Astra over to Firefly Reservations. Is that right?
January. So
Oh,
I had quite a few months of actually
okay.
utilizing the system. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been over 4 months. So let's go ahead and start with that. I mean, how was the migration process coming from Astra over to Firefly? Was it a smooth process? I mean, just kind of elaborate on that a little bit for me.
It was incredibly smooth. What was amazing to me, and coming from I'm a nurse and I'm a clinician that does a lot of work with IT. Um, and training as well, and so that's my whole background. So I was actually expecting it to be this big undertaking and all kinds of issues, and just I had this horrible gut feeling. So the only thing that delayed our transition was my gut feeling that it was going to need so much of my time, and it just didn't. They were able to bring in the information. They had it set up ready for me, just to start. I held us back because I thought I would need to spend more time on it. Yeah.
Great. Well, that's good to hear. And that was our goal with this. And were you part of the campground manager before Astra came about? Do you
Mm-mm,
recall? Okay.
mm-mm. Yeah.
All right. I was going to ask that question because I know there's some people we worked with out there that went from campground manager when it became Astra, and I guess it was a nightmare. So we actually, our team learned from that. So as you're familiar now, Aspira, our parent company, purchased Firefly Reservations as an upgrade to Astra Campground Manager.
Yes.
So the gentleman who actually built it, his name who built Firefly Reservations is Bradley Adams, and he's still with us as a lead developer. So all of our Astra Campground Manager development team and customer success team are still with us, helping this be a smooth process. So I know a lot of times when a company buys another company, there's always that scared feeling that, oh man, now it's a new company, everybody's going to leave that I was used to, and now it's going to just be
Right.
a. But so we've worked really hard with that in the last. I mean, I've only been on since June of 2022, so not even a full year yet, and we've worked it very diligently to make sure that customers like you, our Astra customers, have nothing to worry about when you're upgrading up to Firefly Reservation. So that's good to hear there was a smooth process for you. Question now, I mean, was it an easy process now that you've been using Firefly after the migration?
Incredibly easy. And one thing that sticks out in my mind as being so beneficial and over the top, in being what I needed it to be, was that throughout the development of my campground, I have worked full time and traveled full time. So I have managed my RV park, or RV campground, while being on the road.
Mhm.
So I knew that one of the biggest things that I needed was very easy accessibility right from my cell phone. I wasn't going to be able to just open up my laptop whenever I wanted. And so I knew what I wanted. And so once I started utilizing Firefly, I had that. And in fact, at a recent show, I'll tell you, well, at Texas campgrounds at the meeting, I was pulling up my cell phone and showing everyone, look what I could do from right here.
That's
And
awesome.
it's so transparent, if you will. I can see, I can work with it and do it no matter where I am. And isn't that what this industry is about anyway?
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
perfect.
get most. Yeah.
So my next question to you, do you have staff on site besides yourself, like an office manager or something that uses the system as well?
We do. We have a campground manager,
Okay.
and he utilizes the system also right from his computer or from his iPhone. He could be out checking somebody in and do it right from the vehicle or do it from the office. I also really appreciate that either one of us, you can have a customer in this industry that is very tech savvy, right? Or you could have that customer that isn't so tech savvy. In fact, has this wall up of don't ask me to go on the computer at all. That's why I'm in an RV traveling the country, right? I don't want to do all that. So they want to have that one-on-one connection. Well, with Firefly, you actually get that on both sides, because the manager or myself, if I'm backing that manager up, we can go and help that customer, be on the phone with them, and it's a smooth transaction. It's a very easy flow. And they never really, I don't think they understand that all you're doing is filling in the information they were going to type in. It's just an easy process to go through. It's very customer friendly from my end, and it's a customer friendly system for the customer that is sharing information with me. So that's what we both love about it so much.
Great. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So before you were on Astra, were you on a different software before Astra?
I way back, well, I've been in the industry a long time, since 2011.
Okay.
And I was one of those early developers that knew I had to have something that was very mobile. So believe it or not, I had self-created a system within QuickBooks that did a lot of what we have in Firefly. And I was emailing invoices and doing processes, and I actually had my site set up and templates. You can imagine what that was like trying to do it in QuickBooks. So absolutely, I was excited about the idea that what I had built and what I knew I needed was already there in Firefly.
That's good. Speaking of that, have you had an opportunity to get into the new accounting module that we've released? Have they set you up with that at all?
I talked to someone at the meeting and I said, get me in. So yes, absolutely. Hopefully I'll hear from them any day, because that's going to be huge, because right now we're posting payments in Firefly and we're turning around and posting them in QuickBooks. And having that synchronized together, or even work together, is going to be just another one of those things that takes Firefly above another level.
Yeah, and that's what we're working on right now. And instead of just sending it out to every single client and then figuring out there's a bunch of little bugs, we have some beta testers. So that's, I think I was one, or Lisa, I think Lisa was at the taco meeting, the Texas Association of Campground Owners meeting, where she said, yeah, I'll get with them to see if we can get you in the accounting module. That way you can start playing around with it ahead of time and try to break it for us. And so far it's really cool. I've seen it. It's pretty awesome. And I know it's taken us up another level. So that's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. So another question, I know you've touched a little bit on this, but I mean, if you can, in a few words, I mean, what impresses you the most about Firefly?
Ease of access, adaptability, and it is so applicable to what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. It's like a campground owner went in and created something that they knew was going to work in the field. And that's what makes it so appropriate and so worthwhile getting to know.
That's great that you said that. I'm not sure if you know, but a campground owner did build Firefly Reservations. So
there we go.
Yeah, and actually he's a Texas person. His campground, him and his brother bought a campground. His name's Bradley Adams. He's a software developer, and him and his brother bought a campground up in the Panhandle of Texas.
Awesome.
And Bradley built it based on their campground because he just wanted something that worked for him. And then our parent company, Aspira, came across it, and Astra is an older system, but we really wanted something newer that worked basically in the cloud. And they approached Bradley, and he sold it to Aspira, but agreed to stay on as our lead developer. So he's the guy that leads the development team with all this new coding and new features and things that are coming out. So I wasn't sure if you knew that or not, but it's funny that you said that. So
I didn't, and it's absolutely what I would believe to be true. That's incredible.
Great. Yeah, he's a great guy. I talk with him almost daily because, marketing, I want to make sure I'm getting the right language and stuff that our policy, or that our product can use. So so next question then is, I know you've said a few things about what impresses you. What are some things you like the best about Firefly?
My number one thing is that I can pull it up on my cell phone and not see a piece of the information. Like if you're familiar with QuickBooks, in QuickBooks, the app that's on your phone is not the same as the information that you're seeing on your desktop. Well, I need all of it, right?
Mhm.
So I love that with Firefly, when I pull it up, now it looks a little bit different, but the data, the ease of using it, all of the information I need is right there on my cell phone, my iPad, my computer. It's all the same. It's right there. That's
Yeah, and
my
that was one. Yeah, and that was one of the things we discussed about was, do we want to just make it a mobile friendly website application, or do we actually want to build an app that you download? And we come to realize that no, we just want it to be mobile friendly because it's basically the website on your phone. So
yes,
that was the direction we went with it. So I'm glad it's working out for you. So.
great choice. Yes.
Great. And then one of the last questions I have is, if somebody was considering switching over to Firefly from either Astra or any other software out there, what is some advice that you would give them, or how would you encourage them to move over to Firefly?
Um, the first thing I would say is don't be afraid of it. And you may have customers that are shy of it, or you may have team members that say, oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't the system that we had before. People generally don't like to engage in change. So encourage your team to be open-minded about the positive items that Firefly is going to bring in. Don't be afraid to reach out and get assistance if you need it. And it's so adaptable. I guess when you first look at a system, you wonder, are you going to be able to do all the wonderful things that you can do just because you know something in and out, right? You know everything about your campground. It's really easy. Like I just had a switch of 6 units and how I was managing those units and what those units actually were to us. Literally, it took me 10 seconds in Firefly to make that change. And I wanted to believe that that was possible even 6 months ago when I was on Astra. So don't be afraid of it.
Right. And what would you say to somebody who they just started their season, or perhaps, some of people are in like mid-season? Would you think that switching during mid-season would be a big issue for them?
I don't think so. I'm not a seasonal campground, and we did this right in the middle of our year. So no, I don't see why, especially if you're importing the data from Astra, it was there. It literally took me, I'm going to say 2 phone calls, and I did have to go in and tweak things, not really because of the data that came in, but because of all that was available. All of a sudden, I had access to information that I didn't have before. So it was important to me on how it was in the system. I tweaked some things, but I don't see any reason why you wouldn't do it anytime your team is ready.
Great. Yeah, and that's exactly what we were trying to encourage people who are thinking about switching is, yeah, we understand it's hectic to be, in the middle of your season, and you don't want another thing, quote unquote, on your plate. But we're really trying to explain to them that you can actually have your entire park built and ready in Firefly before you ever flip the switch. It's not like you have to do something. And I heard some really good advice from one of the previous people that I was talking to saying, why don't you just start with like 10 sites and see how it works in there? And if you like it, our customer success team is here to help build it out for you and help get everything ready to go, where when you're ready, you just flip the switch and you take off your old system and put on your new system. So that's good advice that you give them. So I appreciate that. And we've been able to take any of the data from other softwares out there and export the data and then re-import it into Firefly. So that way, and like you said, though, there's always going to be a little bit of tweaking stuff because, that's just how it goes when you go from one system to another. But yeah, so I think you really hit the nail on the head there when you were saying about how you need to tweak it. So that's really what we're encouraging people who are thinking about switching to think about.
Right. And don't be afraid to reach out because there is assistance out there. And the YouTube videos are quite helpful. Once you get in and you see the system, I do recommend to all of my friends that have come on with Firefly, go in and listen to the videos. it was very helpful to me.
Great. Yeah, I think you're referring to our knowledge base, and
Yes.
yeah, we've been working really diligently on that as well. And as you probably haven't noticed it, but some of our videos are a little bit outdated because we've been creating new features. So we're actually got it on the roadmap right now that we're gonna start building out some new videos with the updated software and updated information. So our knowledge base will be like really up to date with everything. So
That's awesome.
great. Great, I appreciate that. Thank you again for being here, Michelle. You really helped me out with getting some more information from actual clients that went from Astra to Firefly and how easy the process is. So I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.